Introduce Sanat, Shelat, who is going to be our course leader tonight. Now, I've known Sanat for about 2 or 3 years. We actually met at a training session that was run by Division E a couple of years ago, and he was presenting, not on evaluations, but on something else at that time. And I really enjoyed his presentation. He's now a member of our Trainers Bureau. He has been a Toastmaster for 10 years now. He is a stalwart at the Heart of England Toastmasters Club in Solihull, which, if you don't know, Solihull is just next to Birmingham in the English Midlands. He is a stalwart of that club. He's been president, and I think he's probably been every officer in that club. And I, last year, when I was Division E director, had the pleasure of working with Sanat when he was Area 42 director, and we had a really good time, and I got to know him very well. The one thing you will notice about Sanat is that he is passionate about whatever he does, and you will pick that up tonight. I've talked over with him what's going to happen, and you know, it's going to be an exciting, you are going to be involved as well. So anyway, I have spoken enough, and I would now like you to help me welcome Sanat to the floor. So please help me welcome Sanat.
Thank you, Danny. Let me first start off by quoting Ken Blanchard. Ken Blanchard said, "Feedback is the breakfast of champions." Bill Gates, co-founder of tech giant Microsoft, he said that we all need people to give us feedback. It's the way we improve. Mr. Zoom Master, fellow Toastmasters, and very welcome guests, I am excited to be presenting to you tonight effective communications. In exchange for your attention, my aim is to help you, guide you to improve the quality of your evaluations going forward. Is that okay with everyone? We're going to have an element of participation. I'll just give you an overview of what's going to come, but the fact that you are all here, let's face it, shows me that you feel there's room for improvement and that you're here to improve. And if that's correct, we both are in the right room, the right Zoom room. So let me give you a quick overview of what to expect in this session today. First, I'm going to outline a simple structure that I believe every evaluation should have in it. I'm going to then look at the 3 roles that we as evaluators are expected to fulfill in our evaluations. Also, we're going to look at the phrasing of our comments when we share our evaluation, how to phrase those so that the recipient, the speaker, takes them in the vein that we want them to. We're then going to have a look at a handy checklist, because evaluating a speaker is about identifying, in my opinion, the qualities, the techniques that that speaker has incorporated in their speech, which made it such an excellent speech. And that checklist I'm going to run through with you, and that will form the basis of the participative element, which is we've got the pleasure of a really excellent speaker, Abby Brinklow from my own club, Heart of England, a much loved and valued member who's going to give us a target speech. It's going to last between 5, 6, and 7 minutes. And what I'd like us to do is to listen to that speech. Our Zoom master is then going to allocate us to some breakout rooms, and using that checklist or one of your own, I'd like you then as groups to evaluate, discuss the speech, come together, appoint one person to then deliver that evaluation on behalf of your group. Probably have time for 4 or 5 evaluations if time would allow, to get a practical overview and experience of the learning that we will have had earlier on. And then I'm going to hand back to Danny, who will give a summary for us. Is everybody okay with that outline? Okay, let's get started. first, I'm going to talk about the structure of an evaluation. To my mind, there are three elements. The first element is the hook. The hook is the reason why the speaker that you're about to evaluate should listen. Now, you might want to think of various ways you could start. Here's a couple of examples that I could probably think of. You could say, and we imagine that it was Tom who gave a speech. I would say, Tom did a really wonderful speech. But what really surprised me is something that I want to share with you. You might also want to say that of all the things that Gandhi said, that if you want to see change in the world, I saw in the speaker something that changed my thinking. I'm going to share that with you later on. That's our examples of the hook, something to give the person a reason to listen. The second element is the signpost. Evaluation will indicate what the speaker is to expect. For example, you'll be saying, my evaluation is going to cover the things that had the greatest impact on me. I'm going to look at the structure, the content, and the evaluation and offer some recommendations for the speaker to consider. So signposting is the second element, what to expect. The final one is the takeaway. What is it that you will leave the speaker with? Now, I love a tasty takeaway. And if you can indicate the prospect of the takeaway, that is also going to make your evaluation even more attractive for both the listener and the audience to listen to. So that's the structure. Let's move on to the second element, which is the roles that we are expected, the hats that as an evaluator, we're going to be expected to wear. The first is that of recorder. We're going to record everything we see, hear, and feel from the speaker's presentation. And this is where the checklist will help later on, but our first role is to record. The second role of an evaluator is to report the who, what, when, and why, the specifics. What was it in the speech that we saw, we heard, or we felt? And that's the role of the reporter. But above all of those two, if you didn't do those two as successfully, the number one role that an evaluator must have is one of cheerleader, one of encouragement, support, backed up by more encouragement for the speaker to be motivated, to be encouraged, to be drawn, compelled even to want to put their name down for another speech. The three roles an evaluator, the hats that they must wear. It's so important, isn't it, fellow Toastmasters, how we share our thoughts and the way we introduce or prefix the way we share our comments and thoughts. I would suggest is to express them, which is what they are, is your opinion. And therefore prefixing what you're about to say is going to indicate how it's going to be received. And oftentimes, if we speak in the third party, not to the person, but we're speaking about them to the audience. So the other person receiving it, the speaker doesn't need or feel it's been taken personally. And so here are some examples that we might want to have as prefixes. You could say, in my opinion, I thought. You could say, for me, this is what I got. You could say, I felt. You could say, to me, it looked like this. So what we're always doing is indicating that it's an opinion. It's my opinion, our opinion, the opinion of the evaluator that you're sharing. It's not an edict, it's not fact, it's just your opinion, genuinely given. So that is the phrases that we ought to consider. Now, let me indicate to you that recorder function. Now, Danny, I'm going to ask to just share a screen, which is the template, because when I mentioned to you a speech of a speaker, a good speaker, and a beginning speaker will be one that looks to use as many techniques as they are either aware of or have been trained to. So here is a template which, for me, because let's face it, when we are an evaluator, it's not easy, is it, to try and record every single thing. And as you're writing something down, you're not listening to what's being said until you look up again. So because it was a struggle for me, I put down and got together a template. And here's a template which I would urge you to either consider or have one of your own. But let me just go through this very quickly with you, if I may. Every single speech will have three core elements. It'll have structure, it'll have content, and it will have delivery. And it's helpful to be able to consider your evaluation in these three categories. For me, the structure is about helping us understand the speech. If the speech has a good structure, one that you can follow, it's going to help the audience to understand. Content, for me, adds meaning. And that then will give value to the audience. Because if you just said, this is the way it is, that doesn't come across as powerful if you were to actually give it context and meaning. And that's where content, in my view, comes through. And third is delivery. It's what, in my opinion, makes it memorable. Now, let's just have a look at these in more detail. The structure. It needs to have a beginning. Then there will be a middle, how the story is opened and developed, and there'll be a finish. Was there a natural conclusion? And was there a strong takeaway at the end? And that's where you would look to record. You would then write, if there wasn't, you would put a point where that maybe it could benefit from it. Looking at content, the use of quotes. The meaning of a quote will help to establish authority. So, for example, if you recognized that your speaker gave a quote, you would say, I recognize the speaker gave this quote. He quoted Gandhi when he said, if you want change, be the change that you want to see. That established authority for me in the speech. So you're identifying what was done, you're giving it meaning, and then you're being specific. Questions, it helps to connect with the audience. And if the speaker has asked questions, it's a way of engaging with the audience. Were there questions or were there no questions? Facts and figures. Facts and figures gives credibility. Now, I'm going to make some facts and figures up, but here's an example. I could say, 58% of cats, when they were questioned, said they hated dogs. 100% of dogs said they didn't care. Now, that's a funny aspect of quoting facts and figures, but you can see how specific numbers will help to add credibility to what you're saying in your evaluation. The speaker would have said, and if you could identify the speaker had used facts and figures, then you could credit them to say it added credibility. And if they didn't use those, you could say perhaps suggest next time. Humor helps to relax and win the audience over. Storytelling is a classic way of engaging with our audience, and pauses again adds gravitas and causes reflection in the audience, and therefore you would look to note down if the speaker used any of these techniques. Moving to delivery, which makes the speech memorable. Did the speaker use facial gestures? Remember, the face is like a mirror. If you show it in your face, the audience is going to feel it. Did the speaker use facial gestures? Eye contact, the eyes have it. Can you recall the saying when someone says, tell me the truth, look me in the eye and tell me the truth? If you want to engage with the audience with the real authenticity of what you're saying, look straight into the lens if you're on Zoom, or at the audience making eye contact. Hands and finger gestures help to articulate what it is that you're trying to convey. Also, arm motion is a more exaggerated gesture as opposed to a finger or a hand on its own. As long as it syncs, your body gestures will also articulate what it is that you're looking to convey. Of course, when we are allowed to meet, stagecraft is very important. You can place a particular time a speaker can in their presentation by standing on one side of the room. They can levitate to the middle of the room to say, then this is what happened next. And then they could move to the far right of the room by saying, this is where it ended. So you can look to see, did the speaker use stagecraft? In a Zoom meeting, you'll be looking less opportunity for stagecraft, but possibly movement forward and back is perhaps something that we could give feedback on. Voice volume, was it raised when it was important? And the impact, was it soft and personal when it became emotional? Pace is important. And was there energy and was there confidence that the speaker brought to make that speech more memorable? So I've just listed there could be more, and I'm sure there will be, but these are the techniques that a speaker can incorporate to enhance their speech. And as an evaluator, what we're looking to do is to identify, did the speaker use the techniques? Which techniques did they use? How did they use them? And what difference did it make? Now, when an experienced speaker, maybe a world-class winning Toastmaster, gives an outstanding presentation, and I've heard this at club meetings also, where the actual evaluator says, the speech was so good, I've got no recommendations. Now, how can a speaker develop from that kind of feedback? There is nothing there constructive. Well, a form like this, if they didn't use facts and figures, or they didn't use as much eye contact, this gives an opportunity, even for an outstanding speaker, for you to find something to be able to recommend to that speaker, to be able to improve for next time. So this is a template. I would urge you to consider using it, or one of your own. I'm going to ask Danny for us to come back to the gallery session, because we're at the stage now where I'm just going to recap. We talked about the structure of an evaluation. Think of it like a speech. The beginning is to get attention, a hook, a reason why the speaker should listen to your evaluation. The middle part is giving signposting as to what the speaker can expect from your evaluation, and a tantalizing indication of the takeaway that they can expect in terms of the summary of your evaluation. So that is the structure you would look at. You would look at the roles that we have to give, and then you would look at giving those evaluations in an opinion-orientated context. So I'm going to now ask for our target speaker, Abby Brinklow, to give her speech for us. After that speech, our Zoom master is going to allocate, using the Zoom technical features, to move us into groups of 6. And when you're within that group, what I'd like you to do is have a look at that form, if it helps whilst you're going through the evaluation, and then in your groups, share the observations that you saw, the comments that you would wish for an evaluator to make. And then, Danny?
Sorry to interrupt you, Sanat. I've just put the file in chat, so you should all be able to see the checklist that Sanat's just shared.
Smashing. And so
send me a chat message if you've not received it, but it should be there now. Sorry to interrupt, sorry.
No, thanks, Danny. So we'll be in our groups. We'll have 15 minutes for us to have a conversation with our fellow group to share best knowledge. Did you see? I noticed. How about this? How about that? Then appoint one person in your group to represent and present the evaluation on behalf of the group. Now, because we have got a wonderful number joining us tonight, not everyone's going to get an opportunity to give a presentation. So we're going to randomly select 3 or 4 from the groups to have to give that evaluation, and we can experience some active evaluation as of tonight's target speech. Is everyone comfortable with what we're proposing? Excellent. Well, now we've got Abby. Abby, can you wave to us so that...
Hello.
Oh, fantastic. Great. There we are. Let me just give a little bit of background of Abby, if I may. I know I introduced her briefly. Abby is one of the significant members of Heart of England, a driving force, one that I've been particularly impressed with in terms of the dedication as well as the quality. The improvements that I have personally seen has been outstanding. And Abby was kind enough to agree to give us a target speech. I'm really looking forward to listening to it. I hope that you are too. So with that, I'm going to introduce Abby Brinklow with her target speech. Abby.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most importantly, a big warm welcome to my lovely little camera, aka the Abby Cam. Now, me and the Abby Cam have had an interesting relationship over these past few years. We've not always seen eye to eye. And over this past year, our relationship has been pretty intense. Looking down that deep, dark hole, it often feels like a one-way relationship. I just don't get anything back from it. Just like I'm speaking to myself, standing here in the silence, occasionally wondering whether my microphone or Wi-Fi is messed up. Let's just say this silence, it can be pretty lonely at times. Connect with your audience. Isn't that what we're trying to do here in Toastmasters? Connect with the audience and adapt as necessary to maintain engagement, or at least that's what my pathway tells me. But not only in public speaking, we're expected to connect with our families, friends, work colleagues, pets, on this stage that we call Zoom. Doesn't it feel like that right now? Standing here in front of this lens, playing the star role in the movie of our lives. But how do I connect with you all when I'm looking directly at this lens? I can't see your beautiful faces. I can't hear any of your voices or your laughter. I hope. I may need to start working on my telepathy skills a little bit more often. Talking to the silence of a camera may not be the most riveting way to connect with an audience, but this silence and this little dot in front of me has enabled me to connect with myself a whole lot deeper, to get comfortable in my own skin and to be constantly looking at myself, having a good hair day, a bad hair day, to be more focused and present. And to not get so distracted all the time. To get used to my own voice, la 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 la. And, you know, occasionally making up voices.
Hello, is it time for the teddy bear picnic?
Yeah, I'm so hungry. All right, guys, I'll be there in about like an hour. You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Yippee.
Let's just say this solitude way of speaking has shifted me to surrender, to let go, to reconnect with my inner playful child, but most importantly, to reconnect with my authentic self. Authenticity. That is where our brilliance lies. Letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we really are without judgment. An audience will connect with you a whole lot deeper if you have a deeper connection with yourself. Don't use this as a personal development opportunity. Use it as a personal disruption opportunity. Crack yourself open and dig deeper. Be curious, ask questions. Peel away those layers. Bend the rules. Mold it for you. And do what makes your heart sing. Now you might be wondering, yeah, Abby, okay, that sounds great, but how do I do that? Sounds a bit complicated. Or it may even sound a bit scary. But I like to think of it as pretty simple. Just get out of your head and into your heart, your body, your inner being, your soul, your higher self, your gut feeling, your intuition, whatever you want to call it. Sit still and listen. Listen to the guidance that is available to you. In stillness, we receive. Feel the inspiration and creativity that ignites up from within inside of you. Unveil the wisdom and insight that you already have. Come back home to yourself. And yes, this might require you to say hello to yourself a bit more often, but wouldn't you agree? This is the perfect time to do that right now. Whatever lights you up will light up your audience. Even if you've made a few mistakes, you've fumbled over your words, you've forgotten a few things, if you're speaking from your truth, from your authentic self, I guarantee you the audience will feel you and they will connect with you. And when you live life like this, from your authentic self, I guarantee you, life becomes a lot more free and a lot more fun. My message to you is loud and clear. Crack yourself open. Peel away those layers. Listen to your heart and let your authentic brilliance shine and connect with the people around you. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Abby. A really enlightening and inspiring speech. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. I'm sure we all got something from that, some more than others, but there was so much there. What I'd like for everyone to do now, remember the Zoom Master is going to allocate you to a breakout group. If you had opportunity to use that form just to note, or a form of your own to note some of the highlights that you saw in Abby's speech, consider the way when you discuss the structure of that evaluation so that it follows maybe some of the things that I've shared with you. You may have between you some ideas in your group. Nominate one person to represent the group, and then we'll be picking at least 4, I hope if time allows, randomly to deliver their evaluation. So if everyone can prepare as if it could be you, because it could be you, then that will be excellent. So Mr. Zoom Master, can we now, any questions? But well, I'm presuming if there's any questions, send it on a chat, but I think that will be the outline of what I'd like you to do next. So if our Zoom Master can move ourselves into the breakout rooms, please. So what I'm going to do is, firstly, if there is anybody, I mean, we're going to have time now probably for 3 evaluations, looking at the time that we've got. We might run over slightly past 8 o'clock. Is that going to be okay with everybody? I mean, we'll understand if you need to go catch a train, plane, or get something out of the microwave, whatever word that we need to do that's pressing. But if we can at least have maybe 4 evaluations, where's my fingers gone? 4 evaluations, that will be good, because we can get some sort of feedback, see what the value is. Now, with those, I'm not sure if the groups had got numbers, because if we had time, we would have given each breakout room a number. But if you are a representative, can you put your hand up if you're a representative, and then I will just randomly pick a few, just 4 people out, and it is random. So if you can just keep your hand up at just for a second longer. And I'm just going to go into some of the other screens. Hands up if you want to. Very good. Just hold on for a second. I'm just going to go on to the 3rd screen. One more. Right. Okay. I've got the names now, so I'm coming back to where I can see myself. Okay. First, Nigel. I didn't get the surname, but Nigel, can you give your evaluation on behalf of your group first? Nigel.
Can you hear me, Sanat?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, hi. Good evening, everyone. My name's Nigel Smith from Boring Speakers, and it is the opinion of our group. Get out of your head and into your heart, we felt was a really great strapline for a really engaging speech from Abby this evening. And I'd like to use the lesser spotted LOL technique, which is what we really liked. Opportunities for development, and then to finish off on something that we really loved about Abby's speech. Now, first and foremost, we were immersed right from the start with Abby. Phenomenal, great eye contact, good gestures, good movement forward and backwards towards the camera, really fixated on us as the audience. It felt like a conversation. And as Sanat had mentioned before, the smile was there, so it was actually a mirror, made us feel relaxed. We were all drawn in. Abby also used the rule of three really well, and she did that combined with hand gestures as well, which was really great. Pets, family and friends, I think she used on one occasion. Really loved the use of props and the vocal variety that went in with that as well. Just want to touch on a couple of areas of potential improvements. The one thing that we felt was a little bit of a drawback. It was a bit like going to a vampire film and not seeing Dracula, in that we didn't actually know what the speech of the title was. So it took us about, a couple of sentences or so to actually know what the actual speech was about. So that sort of lead-in might have been quite useful. From a structure perspective, we felt it could have benefited from a bit more signposting. Abby's delivery was absolutely excellent, which is the bit that we really loved. But the fact of the matter is we weren't always quite sure where we were in her delivery. And sometimes some of the content, particularly towards the end, which we sort of rolled into Abby's call to action, we felt was a little too directional about do this or do that. And we felt perhaps if you'd have offered some questions with a bit of pause, it may have given us the opportunity to think about what Abby was saying, for us to sort of make our own minds up on what was the right action for us to take for ourselves. But the bit we really loved about what Abby did this evening was that very immersive delivery, got us all drawn in, phenomenal eye contact, as I said, real engagement, and got us hooked in for the duration of the 5 to 7 minutes. So a wonderfully crafted speech, Abby. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom this evening, and really look forward to hearing what you've got to say in the future.
Thank you, Nigel. Very good. Thank you. I'm not sure if we have a timekeeper, Danny. I know we were looking to have one. Did anybody see any lights, or did I miss them? Just to give the evaluators an indication, it's 3 minutes that the evaluators have to give their evaluation. Danny, was it yourself who's going to carry on, or is Alan?
I can time. Unfortunately, I've got the old technology.
That's fine. Okay. So would you mind? Yeah. Would you mind, Danny, if that's if you could do that for 3 minutes? Yeah.
2.5 and 3 minutes.
Please. Yeah. The next presentation is Saeed. Would you be kind enough to share your group's evaluation with us, please?
Thank you, Toastmaster. Abby, thank you very much for your speech. It was a fantastic speech. I really enjoyed your speech from start to finish. And we like about your delivery was absolute fantastic, stunning, your body movement, your eye contact, how you make this topic very interesting, that about that black hole on the Zoom screen. We're all playing for the past almost 1 year, and you make it very interesting for us, which I quite like. And also, I also like the word which you have used, that you're missing some beautiful faces and laughter of people, which is quite interesting. The content was very nice as well, and you have used good use of voice ups and down, absolute fantastic. You have used pops as well. Your body language was stunning, no doubt about that. And in terms of area of improvement, I mean, we think that there are too many informations in small sort of time. So maybe if you could have paused some point, because some of us was wondering where you are going from here. And I think the content, there are too many sort of information, 5 to 7 minutes. So that's the only thing which we thought about. Maybe if you have a 10-minute, 15-minute, maybe absolute fantastic speech from that point of view, but 5 to 7, maybe we were struggling to see where it's going. And the one thing I've noticed is, I don't know about others, it's my personal view. I mean, you started very good when you zoom in and out. I think you've been too close to the camera, which I think maybe could have been avoided. Sense of humor was fantastic. And I think we really enjoy your speech. And over to Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Usat. I enjoyed that evaluation. Next evaluating group representative is James. James, would you be kind enough to give your presentation for your group? I'm hoping there's not two James and I've got goggled-eyed, but James, would you give us your presentation, please?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I was on Abby Cam. What a brilliant introduction with the tempo that Abby kept up throughout the whole of her speech. Abby absolutely oozed confidence. Abby, you pack a brilliant verbal punch. Throughout the whole of your speech, there was just so many brilliant taglines that I tried to record some of them, but they were just flying in and out. I just couldn't get hold of them quite quick enough. What I liked was that they were very relevant to the here and the now. Everything that's going on in the world, you managed to sum up in your speech, and you helped us to understand how we can get through that. Abby has a brilliant vocal range. She can do the pitch where she's hitting it very fast, the pause, and then picking up the pace. Her vocals, she can do soft, but so clear, very quiet, but clear as anything. She can do strong, but not too loud. Marvelous. We all talked in our group about Abby's hand gestures. How many pairs of hands does she have? How much can she do with them? It was dexterous, I think. I would recommend that you slow some of them down. If you have really quick hands, you don't always get the attention that you deserve with your hand gestures. So just try slowing them down a little bit more. Your facial expressions, again, complementing your hands in that you've got so much variation in there. Be careful when you are starting off. You were quite close to the camera in your first minute or so. After that, it was perfect. But you're looking to how you can really take your speech up to being 10 out of 10. That is one of the areas you can look to improve. There is disruption opportunity. That was one of the taglines you came up with, which we liked. Overall, the content was brilliant. There was a lot of it, but I think you got all of your points across. You had a really strong summary with a wonderful call to arms. Come back home to yourself. I think all of us are going to go away with that. And all of us, I think, would like to hear a lot more from you, Abby. Thank you.
James, I would like to invite Raquel to give her evaluation for her group. Raquel, can't see you there just now, but if you could be kind enough to give your evaluation on behalf of your group, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sanat. Well, first of all, congratulations, Abby. It was an amazing speech. Very, very touching, but at the same time, very entertaining and very well done. There's within we have actually, what we've done is actually we've put together all the beautiful things that you have done, which is we love the smile, the fact that you enjoy yourself during the speech. We love the authenticity and the fact that it was just your own personal experience and your own story. So we really love that. We love the fact that your coordination between your eyes, your hands drawing a scene, your movement in and out of the camera, your voice being raised up and down. It just all very clearly in sync, which actually helped deliver a very, very thoughtful presentation. We also saw the power of three done on numerous occasions. It's been mentioned before, pets, families, and friends, but I personally loved the be more focused, present, and let go. Bend the rules, do as you like, get out of your head into your heart. Love the fact that every time you use the power of three, then you stopped created a pause to make us think, oh my God, what's going on next? And then you draw us back in with more recommendations as to what can be done and what can be done, what can it not be done. You come even on the word authenticity. That's obviously not 3 words, but you separated into 3, yet again, using the power of 3, which it was absolutely amazing. One of the things that we did see that it was that it could be improved is that the importance of, you had an amazing strong presence with a professional microphone, and one of the things that it was just missing was that lighting that just felt a little bit giving you too many shadows. We thought that having such a strong presence, that could just be enhanced. Also, the last thing is that you've used the recommendations, you used the power of 3 so strong. Why did we not just get 3 recommendations just to use it a little bit more? That would have even made it stronger. The last thing that I think it was important for you, for us to say, is just great recommendations on what to say and what not to do. But in summary, an amazing speech, which we truly enjoy, and then just 2 very really silly recommendations, power of 3 to finish, and then just improve a little bit of your lighting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I think we'd be okay if we have time for one more. Is everybody comfortable if we just have one more evaluation? I'm just going to, I think I just missed taking 1 extra name. So if you wouldn't mind just putting your hand up again, representing your group. If you would like to give a presentation, if you can put your hand up if you're the elected person in your group, and I will pick one if your hands are up. Anybody want to put their hands up in your group remaining? Nobody wants to put their hand up. Geeta, did I see your hand? Yeah, Geeta, would you give us your presentation on behalf of your group, and we'll make that the last one, and then we'll hand back over. But I saw a number of names. Hands up. I'm ever so sorry if I wasn't able to take your invitation to be selected, but forgive me for that. But Geeta, if you would give us your evaluation, please. You've got your mic. You've got your mic on. Or off, I should say. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Sanat and fellow Toastmasters. Really enjoyed Abby's speech, and there was really, her confidence is the one that we felt was the greatest, and her structure was really good. And I think the way that she went about explaining, the main topic being the opening was talking to the camera. Effectively, the way, I don't know, it was like her presence on the stage was fantastic, and her confidence really. So we were really, everything was to do with the strength, our own inner strength. We found that very inspirational, and to come from there also, to how to practice to be more confident in front of the camera. We found that really inspirational. Really, from our takeaway from this is that the inspirational to the technique, the use of different tone, how effective the visual aid was at the props. From our perspective, really, we found her to be very confident. And I think the only thing as you mentioned, Sanat, the takeaway that we would want to give, just for the inspirational sort of something to motivate her, is to, I suppose, to go about how do we sort of capture our motivational and drive, how to learn to do it really, that Abby was talking about. How do we do it? How is the, the power of loving yourself, really, being more confident in yourself. I think that was what Abby was trying to tell us. It's just the thing that we take away, that we would say to Abby, is that if she could have given us that guidance, we would have loved how to go about it, how to be more confident really in our presenting. Overall, really found the structure, the content and delivery to be fantastic. And we want to hear more from her, really. That's what I would say. Thank you. I think that's our evaluation for Abby.
Thank you very much, Geeta. I just love that enthusiasm. It's infectious, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters? Enthusiasm is infectious. If you can show excitement is very important. One of the things that I learned was that if you can, it's the power of anticipation. And this is true for evaluators as well as for speakers. If you can use the power of anticipation, if you can foresee it going well, what the body releases is hormones which are feel good and confident boosting. If you see it going badly, we all know what that feels like. The heart starts to race, the breath gets shallower, sweaty palms, and all of those things. And what we've got is then cortisol being punched and pushed through our system, which will inhibit us and make a poor performance. So whenever we got an opportunity to step forward and either to speak or to evaluate or to say something, either at work or within Toastmasters, just the power of anticipation, see it going well, expect it to go well, and you'll get the right hormones pumping through the system, which are going to help you rather than the ones that are going to work against you. But I'm just want to really thank those evaluators who, from their groups who collected the thoughts and shared them with us. I just hope that within a relatively short period of time, we've provided the enthusiasm, the excitement to actually offer evaluations. And I think everyone did a really good job of being the cheerleader. That is so important. 80% the content, in my view, of an evaluation is to be able to be that cheerleader, to encourage that person, support them, offer them areas of improvement, and to really reinforce that encouragement. And that was certainly evident in those evaluations. That template, I would encourage you, if you found it valuable, to use it and as a method of capturing as much of the speech as you can. Use it if you wish, adapt it, or obviously use your own. So with that, I'm just going to pass you back to our Zoom master as well as our training